Hello and welcome to the Limited Adhesion podcast. Gareth has taken a break to recharge himself at the moment, so unfortunately you've got the likes of myself, Chris Wight, taking over the reins for the time being. I'm delighted to be joined by Prime Season 6 Club 1500 champion and our old GT3 Series Club 15 champion of Season 4, Mark Innis. How are you doing, Mark?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And also joining us tonight is the Canadian Cool Camel partner in crime, who's been having a brilliant start to the season so far. And I hope I haven't cursed it. It's Rich Meesters. Welcome, Rich. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Chris. How about you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. So we're doing a bit of catch up today, and thank you for our Cool Camel teammates joining us. So Prime Season 10 Race 2 at Phillip Island. Uh, if you haven't checked out the video on the LOA YouTube channel, I do suggest you go there and check it out. It is a bit of a cracker. In that race, Rob Miller took the win ahead of Alex Murphy, Don Parker, and Merrin in a race that's seen 9 lead changes. So a bit topsy turvy. And I do recall Rob pitting quite early, uh, getting the undercut. And David Line, he qualified P2, but unfortunately had a disconnect. So that was kind of bad news for the A team in terms of their championship for the team. But overall, we've got Rob Miller and Alex Murphy leading in the gold split. Dom Parker's got a sizable lead over Stephen Maxwell and Marin Hergovin in the silver. But it's quite close. Only 6 points separating the likes of Zhao Tomei, Gareth Winslade, and Rich in the bronze split going into Hockenheim. So, Rich, you seem to have a quite good start here in Prime. How are you feeling with the Dallara IR 18?
It's a bit of a handful. I'm learning it, getting a little bit better at it every time, but it's a challenging car, especially when the tires are cold. It wants to shake itself out of my hands half the time on the straights,
Yeah,
but otherwise it works pretty well.
yeah. And were you looking to hit the track for Hockenheim?
Yeah, I will be hitting a track for Hockenheim as well.
Excellent. We'll no doubt see what happens in the videos once they get published. And Mark, you were at Interlagos, I believe, weren't you? How have you
I was
found the
indeed,
car?
yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a handful. I had a very eventful Interlagos. Uh, I think it's got a lot of power. It's got a lot of downforce, and yeah, but it's a very physical car. The power steer, well, there is no power steering, so yeah, force feedback's a lot higher than in other cars. So yeah, it always feels like a workout driving that thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. And we have seen quite a few incidents of late with netcode or prediction code happening, and it's quite substantial. But looking at the patch notes going in for the next kind of season and upgrades, they do look to have kind of made improvements on that. So we'll see how that affects the IR18. But we're already seeing from what was happening at the kind of Indy 500 races or practices. There's been quite a lot of those types of incidents. So hopefully they manage to clear those out. And now we've got rain, they can put more resource into fixing those types of issues. So the teams championship, the A team are ahead of Wizards Rose Gold and Stupid Aguri, who so it looks like the top three there are well in place, but we do have plenty of rounds left. We've got a whole host of teams in that chasing pack. We've got around about 10 teams or so. So about yeah, we've got a good half a year left of the season to go anyway. So plenty of time for that to change. And Prime will be at Hockenheim for the next race. So we'll see what happens with that. Right, going into the nitty gritty, the sprint round 2 at Nurburgring GP circuit. So this was the first time we've had a 45-minute race with a potential pit stop in our TCR race. The results: John Brown pipped David Ward to the top spot, uh, with David Ward, sorry, on the podium, and it was nice to see a 41 car grid. And of course, welcome to all the new drivers that have joined the league recently. Um, we've got David Ward leading the gold split ahead of Dom Parker, and I think his name's Michael, and then John Brown chasing as well now due to that win. In the silver split, we've got Mike Murphy well ahead, and he's actually second overall. But then we've got Mark Innis in second place, just ahead of Ben Chalcraft. So, Mark, you seem to have really got to grips with the TCR, particularly at the Nurburgring as well.
Yeah, I wish I could give you a full detailed explanation into how to drive these cars fast, but to be honest, I'm really not too sure myself. I just go out there, drive the thing, and yeah, seem to be getting some decent results. So I'm not quite sure how, but yeah, it all seems to be going my way at the moment.
And you're in the Veloster, aren't you? Have you tried any other cars prior to the season starting?
So, well, prior to the season starting, I didn't actually own any of them. So So yeah, when I turned up at the grid at Phillip Island for the first race of the season, that was the first time I'd ever driven the car. That was
That's
the first time I'd ever driven any TCR.
wow,
Um,
that's incredible.
well,
Yeah,
sorry, first time I'd driven it sort of in anger. So yeah, before the season started, there was a bit of downtime, so I did maybe 6 or 7 laps of each of the 4 cars round Donington, which is one of my favourite tracks. Um, and yeah, just out of that, decided I think the Veloster and the Audi were about as quick as each other in my hands, but I just preferred the way that the Veloster handled it. I felt that the Audi could maybe get an extra couple of tenths, but it was a lot harder to extract the pace from it. So Veloster felt quite easy to drive, so I went with that.
And Mark hasn't developed any bad habits with it yet.
Yet, give me time.
yeah. We have got Brands Hatch coming up next. How do you feel about your race? How it's going to progress from there, Mark, for the next one?
Yeah, so I've done a bit of testing. I think, as you mentioned earlier, we've had the 45-minute race at the Nurburgring. Brands Hatch's 3 15-minute races. And so the first race being reverse championship, I think it's the reverse top 6 in the championship, and then championship order 7th onwards. So that actually puts me on pole position for the first round.
Wow.
So I'm quite nervous. Um, so yeah, bearing in mind the last time I was on pole position, I managed to sneak a win, which was at Long Beach in the USF. So I'm hoping that exactly the same thing's going to happen, and there's going to be a massive pilot behind me, and I can just run away.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll be praying that you hold up all the guys so I can make up some spots from near the near the back. But yeah, that's going to be good. But going back to the Nurburgring GP circuit, was there much strategy involved in your race? Were you fuel saving, or how did you just go balls to the walls on it?
There's a little bit of fuel saving. I think my broad strategy was, if I'm being held up, fuel save, because it's not the easiest track to get past people. So yeah, especially sort of near the start where I was being held up quite a bit, I was doing a little bit of fuel save. But then sort of once I got past people and was in some clean air, then yeah, I was just going pretty flat out to try and minimise the gaps to the cars ahead.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's good. Um, so in the bronze split, Gavin Kelly seems to be well out in front, but Rich, you're in second place. So again, likewise, you must be feeling pretty good about yourself. A good start to the season with Philip Miles chasing you down in third. How's your
Yeah,
season gone so far?
feeling okay. It's a car I guess I'm really trying to learn how to drive well. Had a reasonably good result in the first race. At Nurburgring, I did one of those ill-timed attempts to pass a slower car into the hairpin at turn one and got spun around and then had to watch about 10 to 12 cars go by me before I had a chance to get on the go again. So race was going okay. And then at the end, it really kind of fell apart a little bit for me.
Yeah, but plenty of chances to make amends in the next race. Of course, it's a 3-race format at Brands Hatch. And
Yeah.
in the teams championship, yeah, you guys seem to be doing pretty well there. Actually, sitting in a comfortable 4th place. So very well done, guys. At the moment,
oh,
Brands
cheers.
Hatch will be an interesting one. It's not really my favorite track to drive, and apologies to all my British friends, but it's challenging for me. At least turn one, and then getting that to work, and a couple of the other turns, I just can't seem to make it click. So we'll see how well I can follow people on the upcoming race.
yeah, Brands Hatch definitely going to be an interesting race. See how many people beat you at turn one on cold tires. I think that there might be a few, and yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Rich. Brands Hatch seems to be a track that I don't enjoy. I did have one lucky race. I think it was one of the F4 seasons, but apart from that, I tend to be kind of trying to limit my off tracks. But yeah, we'll see how that progresses this weekend. And in the Teams Championship, CXW Racing are ahead of Stupid Brewery and Formula Llama in third place at the moment. And then we've got the Cool Camel Green chasing them down for that last place on the podium. And we do have quite a few teams, a total of 25 teams registered. So we'll see how that progresses throughout the season. Moving on to the endurance round, which we just had that last weekend at Spa. Of course, Spa, a very popular track on the iRacing service. We had a massive 43 car grid hit the track, consisting of 16 GTPs and 27 GT3s. Mark, you didn't hit the track for this one, but I did note that Rich, you had an absolutely extraordinary race, it must be said. Perhaps you want to go through it and tell us what it was like from your experience.
I'm definitely really happy with the result. I did feel a little bit gutted for Joshua. He was well up in front of me in P2, probably about 30 seconds up the track. And with, I think, 2 or 3 laps to go, his iRacing crashed, and it cost him obviously a podium and netted me one. So happy to get the P3 overall in that. It's a pretty challenging group of people to drive against in GT3, but I'll take it. Things happen to everyone over time. Kind of a race where I think I just, in the endurance, I try to be consistent over being like super fast and on the edge, and things happened in front of me, and I just was able to take advantage of them when they did.
Yeah, that's good stuff when keeping a cool head, especially when things are going wrong for everyone else. And like you said, sometimes you do need a bit of luck. It was very unlucky for Joshua, the connection issues. Again, he was having a good race as well with Ben Crook. He took the win for the GT3s, doesn't he? He's been looking very, very rapid. And it's nice to see that there might be a small rivalry between Ben and Ollie Ettridge. Ollie Ettridge has shown quite a lot of pace, but I think he came into issues at some point during the GT3 race. We won't give everything away. You'll see that in the video that comes out on the YouTube channel. But yeah, Ben got the win ahead of Nathan Alou, and of course, Rich, you took the third place there. So that was really good. But in the championship standings for the GT3s, Ben's well out in front at the moment with Ollie Ettridge in second and Jay Pratt in third. Nathan Alou in fourth, and Rich, you're sitting in fifth. So yeah, you're well in the mix already. So, and out of those 27, to come third is quite some achievement, especially at Spa, where people tend to know that track like the back of their hand, really.
Yeah, for sure. It was, I enjoy driving Spa. I know some people, it's kind of a love-hate relationship for some, but I enjoy it. It's got a good flow to it for an endurance car. You just kind of have to settle in and drive it, really.
Yeah. Interestingly, no rain at Spa. It was predicted kind of around about 50% rain. What are your guys' thoughts on rain hitting the endurance? Do you think it's going to be how's it going to impact your race? Do you think it's going to impact in a negative way where you can't cope so well, or do you think you'll be able to take advantage?
I think in the GT3s, I probably will be able to take advantage. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable. I've done a few rain races in it. I know we did, Mark and I and the Cool Camel team did the Sebring race, and we had some rain.
Yeah, let's not talk about that,
Rich. It's just, you have something, again, you have to get into a little bit of flow, understand the car, how it's feeling, and slow it down enough to be able to be fast, essentially. It will be, I think, really interesting to get into one of those events with a mixed split of GT3s and GTPs to see how the GTPs handle the rain. I know at Spa, even in the dry, that was, I think, one of the challenges was just trying to get around some of the GTPs as they were doing things like passing you in the bottom of Eau Rouge. And there were some challenges there, which fortunately I managed to stay out of for the most part.
Yeah, navigating the GTPs can be a little bit treacherous, but yeah, you came out of it in one piece. Moving on to the GTPs, Tour Milan took the checkered flag ahead of Maren Hugavin and Rob Miller. Rob Miller, we've seen in another championship. I think he does post a link to check it out on a live stream through one of the other YouTube sites. And Dan Shaw making a rare appearance, finishing in 4th place of all the places as well. So it'll be nice to see him keep keep that momentum, and hopefully he joins us on track again. So the standings for the GTPs. In fact, we'll go through the team standings in the GT3s because Risky Racing are out in front ahead of JPR Esports. But you guys in the Cool Camel Green are sitting in 3rd place, so very well done once again, sitting on 40 points there, so not too far off 2nd place either. In the GTPs, we've got Maren Hoogervin out in front ahead of Tour Malarin, and we've got Sebastian, Alex Murphy, Rob Miller, and Dan Shaw heading out the kind of top places there. But yeah, it seems to be good battles up and down the field, really, from both kind of splits. And the Wizards, Black Sapphire, well out in front in the Team Championship for the GTPs, ahead of the Speed Eagles and 2 sets of Wizards and Super Aguri. I did note that in Spa, it looked like a couple of drivers were struggling in the GTPs. I think possibly Gareth and I think his teammate as well. It might have been, I think his teammate, but they kept it clean, and that was the difference. That gained them some places overall, and sometimes I think that's what you just need to do is keep it clean and drive safely, and it takes you out of incidents like myself. I think I got wiped out in one of the incidents as well, but those happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really the crux of endurance racing is just keeping it clean, right? You're going to be out there for a while, so make sure that you're keeping your race clean and consistent. And if you can stay out of trouble, then you're going to do fairly well, I think.
Absolutely. And taking it on to the next race, that the endurance will be at Watkins Glen. Still no rain, and it does look like rain isn't forecast, but you never know, that may change. What are you guys planning to grid up for Watkins Glen? And if you are, what are your thoughts and your chances?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss the upcoming endurance and the upcoming IR18 race because I'll be on my holiday in England, and I don't plan on taking my rig with me.
I don't blame you on that. It might be quite expensive. What about you, Mark? Are you planning to hit Watkins Glen?
Potentially. I think I'm right in saying that Watkins Glen is the day of the Majors Le Mans 24 race, which
Yeah.
I'm also competing in.
Wow.
So,
How about you
yeah,
how about you tell us about that as well when you get a chance?
sure thing. So yeah, just quickly on Watkins Glen, I think it'll basically be a case of depending on how tired I am after doing a 24-hour race, depends on whether I'll take the grid, because it's not as if it's a short one either. It's another 90 minutes, so we'll see how I feel. But yeah, Majors 24 is coming up on I think it's 7th of June, if my memory serves me correctly. 8th of June, sorry.
Okay.
And so yeah, so it's a 24-hour race. We're entering as the Cool Camel racing team in the Ferrari GT3.
Right.
We did it last year and we got 3rd. So yeah, hoping for another decent performance this year.
Yeah, and who's all going to be joining in? Is it all the Cool Camel guys?
So yes, so we've got myself, we've got both the Peppers, and we've got both the Weavers.
Oh, interesting. Jason and Jake from the Oval sides. Yeah, I remember.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so that should be a whole lot of fun. Nice group of guys to race with as well.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing for me for doing the special events is I'm not too fussed about winning. If we win, brilliant, but I just view it as spending 24 hours chatting to a load of nice guys. And yeah, just having a bit of fun.
I'll be cheering you on virtually and hoping, I'll see Steve maybe in the pub on Monday and find out how you did.
Brilliant stuff.
And that's one of the bonuses about joining a league like the Limited of Adhesion. You meet guys with similar mindsets and similar interests, and you can just pick up racing buddies and pick up for these type of special events as well. So it's great. The league's been used for that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking forward to the season. Is there any races or combos that you're looking forward to or dreading as the season progresses?
I don't think so, to be honest. I just love racing. Just looking through the calendars, I'm probably going to give Suzuka a miss because although I know I'm probably going to get hated for this, but I'm not a fan of Suzuka. I just can't get the hang of it. I've never been able to get it right, so I may well give that a miss in Prime. The sprint calendar looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to how that progresses. And yeah, just looking for the endurance calendar. Um, yeah, I think I'm looking forward to pretty much all of those, to be honest.
Yeah. I can't. We've been pretty lucky this season. Or I say lucky. They've planned it out very well, and at least my opinion is I like the layout that we've got now. We've got the prime for the fast formula type cars. We've got the sprint. It's just if you just want to bash out a few laps, and then you've got the endurance for people who like that as well. But I guess most of us just like to do everything anyway. But what are your guys' thoughts on the league this season?
I'm enjoying it. I think the it gives you a little more time to practice. I'm still doing some other league activities and doing like TCR every week right now, but for the most part, it's easier just to jump in and focus on one car and one track combination for that week for the league racing. And there's been a pretty good set of practice sessions that folks have been hosting, so that's really been helpful as well, and just kind of getting ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I feel pretty much the same way as Rich, to be honest. I think last season, where we had the two different cars in the same weekend, I ended up quitting half of the leagues after the first couple of weeks. I found it so difficult to jump straight out of one car and into something completely different
Yeah, and you
that
got
yeah,
my
into the point.
results.
You get into the point where you just weren't focusing
Yeah,
on one of them, right? You might have been driving, but you really weren't racing as much as you would say, okay, I'm going to
exactly.
focus on
And
the other car.
I was getting to the point where I was getting quite dangerous because I wasn't fully comfortable with the second car, and I was sort of jumping straight into a race. And yeah, so I thought, no, I don't want to be taking people out. So I very much prefer how it is now, where you've got a week and you can just focus on that one car and track combo, get properly up to speed.
yeah, definitely. And we'll see how that progresses. I think that the league will stick like this for quite some time, and we have got a lot of new drivers joining as well. So I think we're full or almost nearly full. I think Gavin posted that we're not accepting any sign-ups until probably end of this month of June or July for the endurance. But seeing if anyone decides not to show up. But yeah, it's really nice to see the league grow, and everyone has people to race regardless of where in the standings they are as well. So it's really exciting times to be part of the limited adhesion.
We'll
And just
probably
on the yeah,
we'll probably see
go,
some new GT3 cars coming out in the next race as well with the new season
yeah,
release.
yeah,
We
that's going
get
to
some
be
American
interesting.
content.
Being from North America, Rich, you think you'll take one of those up, or do you think you'll go with what you know?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'll take the risk, and I'm going to give the Mustang a try. I own a Mustang EV, so it's a natural thing for me to kind of do.
Ah, yeah,
But yeah, I want to give it a try, and I know it's a bit of a chance given I'm doing pretty well in the Ferrari, but it's all in good fun.
yeah. Mark, totally forgot what GT3 are you driving, because I know you used to drive the Ferrari, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm still with Ferrari.
Yeah, I totally knew that. Are you going to stick with that, or are you going to move on to something new?
I'm not sure, as yet undecided. I think one of the things that I enjoy about racing with Cool Camel is that we can sort of share setups, because I think most of us are driving the Ferrari at the moment.
Yeah,
So I will. I'll. Yeah, I think I'll wait and see. I know, Rich, you're moving to the Mustang. I think if quite a few people move to the Mustang, then I'll join as well.
yeah, that
But
sounds good.
yeah, not sure at the moment.
I may have to get some special dispensation from Marin though, because I know I'll miss the race after it's introduced, and I won't be racing until the next endurance one. And I know he's kind of wanting to avoid that, but it's not like I'll have a chance to really go with it otherwise anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll totally understand that anyway. All right. And just a last note, both of you have made videos for the channel at some point in your LOA careers. Have you got any plans to make some more content in the future? I know, Rich, you're coming over to England, but perhaps once you return to your homelands, are you going to make some more and film what you do in the iRacing lobbies?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm doing my own YouTube streams right now of the races. So, it does get in, but it isn't part of the LOA channel. I've just found, I think recently I've just been a little too busy work wise to think about doing another race, usually a public, to get into something that I can broadcast and add, but I will probably try and do a few more for sure.
Yeah, and where can people find you if they want to watch you stream?
Oh, you would ask me that, huh? Ask Mark about his videos first and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I have seen Mark a couple of times. I think when you've done endurance races, do you stream on Twitch? Don't you, Mark?
Yes,
Yeah. Where do people
I'll
find you for that?
stream pretty much every special event over on Twitch at, I think it's twitch.tv/Minnis23,
Yeah.
I think.
Excellent.
So obviously I'll be streaming Majors 24. I'd like to continue doing some other videos for the LOA, but to be honest, I don't do any official iRacing ones other than special events. I think I've just looked at my last 8 races that I've done, and 5 of them are special events, going all the way back to Fuji 8 Hour at the end of last year. So yeah, I don't do too many officials that I can record, but I'd certainly like to do some other stuff. So I know Steve and I have been talking about doing a sort of an endurance video, sort of a how-to guide that we are working on when work and stuff doesn't get in the way. And yeah, so I'd still definitely like to do some more bits like that.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
And
look forward to seeing that. Yeah.
and I switched mine. I was streaming on Twitch, and I decided to switch over to YouTube, and so you now can find me at richmeesters3679, and I do stream both the LOA races fairly frequently, as well as I'm in the Canada Racing League and stream those during the week as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking those out because it's always cool to see the races that you've just been in from other drivers' perspectives, and it gives you those views that perhaps if you've had an incident or overtaken someone you felt maybe a little bit rough, you can see it from their perspective as well, and make judgment from it. But yeah, it's always nice to see other people and how their races progress. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks very much for joining us, guys, and best of luck for the season for the Cool Camels. And it does look like a positive start, and hopefully that maintained throughout the season. So thanks very much to Mark and Rich for joining us. Do you want to say goodbye, guys?
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers. Bye.